and then had, I mean, it feels like a great final 3 minutes, but smashed in the middle of those final 3 minutes was a Drew Brees-led 62nd-yard scoring drive to give up the lead. Like, they kicked what they thought could be the game-winning Kai Forbath field goal. Drew Brees marches the Saints down in less than a minute to retake the lead. So that's why I think it is enormous opportunities for teaching moments as far as what were we doing that was so successful in the first half, and then what the hell happened to it for the next nearly 2 quarters before we pulled out, what did you call it, CC? The Minneapolis Miracle?
Yes.
Before, this is not the type of game where it's just coach speak to say, oh, we need to work on some things. They, as you mentioned, they were fortunate to win, and they got outplayed, I thought, very obviously throughout the second half of that football game.
I was on the field, so it's the staff, the fans, the players all knew they had witnessed a miracle. We all knew. Like, the Vikings did, for the most part in the game, play better than the Saints, but this is not soccer. You know, this is, we keep score, you know, on everything. And if you can lose a game that you play better than the opposition. So right after the game, after all the cheering and everything, I went into the locker room with the owners, and Coach's message was, hey, guys, we've all witnessed a miracle, but you know what we're going to do? We're very, very fortunate. We're going to clean up a couple things. We're going to go to Philadelphia and play a better football game. Our schedule tomorrow, practice squad inactive guys, you're working out at 8 o'clock. Injured guys, I want you in getting treatment. He went right into, yes, that was a miracle, to coach speak. And this is who Coach Zimmer is. And it was refreshing to me that there was no big announcements. There was no, let's run around the stadium. There was no, oh, my goodness, like this is a championship. No, he was a football coach, and we need to correct some things so that we're not in the position that we put ourselves in. And to be honest, you know, Case Keenum's got to play better football. Case Keenum was careless with the football a couple times, and he helped turn this game around by throwing the ball up for grabs that he didn't have to. Could have easily taken a sack or thrown the ball away. They had a punt that was blocked that could have cost them the game. So there was a number of things. Missed a field goal before halftime, which would have made them go up 20 to nothing. So there's enough good tape of things that they can correct going to Philadelphia.
What do the Vikings have to do besides cleaning up a few of the things that they let sort of slide against this past weekend?
Yeah, going in this game, they've got to make Nick Foles beat him. This has got to be a game where, at the end of the day, it's the passing game that ends up beating him. And in order to do that, or in order to disrupt Nick Foles, they've got to get up at the line of scrimmage and take away the timing of this offense. Philly's offense, if they can get in rhythm and they can get that timing going, it's very efficient, and it can get streaky.
Something they didn't do last week. They had a hard time coming out in that first quarter.
No, this is the thing. No, they took away New Orleans running the game. They made them throw the ball. But it was,
she was saying Philly had a hard time getting off early in the first.
Yes, the Vikings did great.
And Minnesota got off to a fast start, so it's going to be a kind of a clashing.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Nick Foles, they look very, very nervous to me.
Right.
And also Philadelphia is lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, not as lucky as Minnesota, but Philadelphia is lucky to be able to recover from that type of start. So it's going to be very interesting. Vikings got off to a fast start, lost it. Eagles got off to not so fast start, and trying to change that.
And with Case Keenum, too, dealing with that Philly pass rush and the rotation of defensive linemen, he's made a lot of plays with his feet, and he's extended plays, and that can be a really good thing. But with the way that these guys rush, it's only going to take 1 or 2 times where you're trying to get by that extra second.
You get hit from the back,
you get hit from back, like we saw in Pittsburgh, where the ball gets picked up. I think you need to make decisions that are calculated. Take those calculated risks as opposed to trying to do too much with a defensive line like Philadelphia has.
I don't know how you coach this, but my approach, if I'm Minnesota going into this football game, is our defense is good enough to win us this game as long as our offense doesn't make egregious errors. As long as our offense doesn't.
I think it's hard to have that philosophy because it's hard for players to play confident and fast. And you've relied on your wide receivers and you've relied on Case. So it's hard. You can't change which won you 13 games.
I agree with you. That's why I said I don't know how to coach it. What the point that I'm trying to make is I go into this game. I understand the Vikings defense played its worst half it's played all season, the second half, the most recent half of football. This is the best or second best defense in football. They allowed 24 second half points to New Orleans. They allowed theoretically 2 game-winning drives by Drew Brees. Drew Brees had like a 139 quarterback rating in the second half. He was great. But that Vikings defense over the course of this season has shown you, especially against mediocre quarterbacks, we will... the analogy someone used was so great. We'll be a boa constrictor. We will just tighten and suck the life out of you.
Yes.
What
That's
I would
be my analogy with Nick Saban in Alabama.
Okay, thank you. I knew I heard it from someone. My source told me the boa constrictor. So my concern for the Vikings going into this game, a game I think they should win on the road, is exactly what Coach described. Case trying to do too much and either throwing the pass we saw him throw there that he shouldn't have thrown, or running around and having Brandon Graham come over and chop his arm for a fumble. Like, I don't know how you coach away from that, but that would be my concern.
But to Chris's point, you can't. Case Keenum has done a ton of good things. This Minnesota offense has done a ton of good things all season. To then go into the room and say, look, you guys take this week off. We're going to rely on our defense. I don't think that's fair either. I just think you've got to go into this game and clearly explain the case. Look, just don't push it too far.
The Vikings don't get out in New Orleans game if Stephon Diggs don't have 6 catches and Adam Thielen have 6 catches. So throw the guys the ball.
Right.
Go somewhere.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's always a
Good to see you,
time.
Coach Mangini.
You're very funny, Coach. You're very funny guy. Hey, coming up, are the Jags talking too much trash ahead of their game with the Patriots? Talk about that next on First Things First.